Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we'll be doing the Miami Heat 2025-26 season preview and predictions. And I am fortunate enough to actually be a credentialed media to go to Heat games, practices, and all that. I'm not tier 1, I'm tier 2, but through my work, USA Today Sports Hoops Hype. And so this being my second year now being able to do this, I thought it's an interesting one because, I texted one of my buddies, James Jackson with The Athletic, who covers the team. And this year, he's been doing more desk editorial, but we're going to talk about the Miami Heat after Jimmy Butler leaves and everything. Are they going to bounce back? They're trying to rebound from a disappointing 37-45 season. The Heat aim to return, and maintain that playoff stability that they're known for, with Erik Spoelstra at the helm and Pat Riley in the front office. So comment your opinions on the season and what's your expectations, and subscribe for more content like this. Now, the Heat entered 2025-26 with renewed optimism after adding expiring contract in Norman Powell and landing a lottery talent that fell to them in first-round pick Kasparas Jakučionis. While Tyler Herro's foot injury will delay his start this season, it could open the door for younger players and the new guys to prove themselves before he returns. I really do think allowing Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, Jakučionis, and everybody else kind of get minutes, even Jaime Jaquez get minutes, will help everybody because it'll get people in the groove. Because when Tyler comes back, I don't think he's going to struggle. He's the type of guy who knows his role, and he's going to come out firing. So they brought back Davion Mitchell. Keyshawn Johnson's still on the team. They added Norman Powell. Norman Powell's the one that I like. Simone Fontecchio, another one. They have on two ways this year, Vlad Golden and Myron Gardner. Watch out for Myron Gardner and Vlad Golden. Those two might be converted by the end of the year. Myron Gardner is a more athletic, may I say, just from a skill standpoint, a better PJ Tucker. Then Drew Smith came back, and then they have Ethan Thompson and Steve Settle III on Exhibit 10s, which have a max $85,300 bonuses, which they get if they get waived and then spend 60 days on the G League affiliate, the Sioux Falls Skyforce. And they netted themselves also a 2027 second-round pick via the Clippers. Yes, they lost Duncan Robinson, but they were able to turn that into a sign-and trade. Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson were sent to the Jazz so that they could get themselves Norman Powell. And Haywood Highsmith was sent to the Nets as a salary dump move. And they gave up a 2032 second-round pick to dump Haywood Highsmith. So last year, they were swept by the Cavs in the first round. And the Jimmy Butler situation, I guess we would call it a saga, dominated the headlines and disrupted the team's chemistry. It really just wore on them. You could see it, especially on guys like Jaquez and the younger guys. It just wore on them. And this year, we're expecting Khalil Ware to be a guy who's going to take a big jump. Pelle Larsson proved he could be a role player. And Terry Rozier, I just think they're going to send him home. Nobody wants him, and he's not going to accept the buyout. So my understanding is that unless they can move him, he's just not. I don't even think they're going to play him. Maybe they'll be forced to play him. And then Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware look to anchor the defense. But behind them, there isn't really center depth. Like last year, they had Thomas Bryant, which was really solid that they had someone like that. So this year could be two things. I think the overall arching theme is it's a transitional gap year. And it could either be a frustrating one, or it could be one where they exceed expectations and they go into next offseason where they'll have more flexibility than they did this year, and they'll be allegedly better free agents and probably more trade candidates than there were this year for them to make a bigger move. So their summer summary: Miami pivoted to reshaping depth with Norman Powell and Fontecchio while adding Jakučionis and some young guys. While losing Duncan Robinson, Kevin Love, and Anderson sucks, but those are all guys who were older in their 30s. Like, they were able to basically get younger, and I think keep the same level of talent. Yeah, continuity is gone, but I think they needed a retooling, fresh faces. So the shooting is still questionable. I think, if Fontecchio, Norman Powell, and Jakučionis and the others can hit their threes, then it's not going to be a concern. But yeah, they lost some veteran experience. They're hoping that a lot of young guys take leaps or can be consistent contributors. But Erik Spoelstra's system has proven resilient with plug-and-play ability and adjustments for any of their pieces. And the front office, in my opinion, is someone that's keeping this team together. I think they've done a good job of being able to build a roster and be able to do something in terms of they have a culture, and I think the Heat culture still works. And the front office, Pat Riley, is keeping flexibility alive than overcommitting. We expect, I don't know who's going to be the starting point guard now. I assume Davion Mitchell, but he could be someone that they just decide that they would want him to be the sixth man and they start Jakučionis or Drew Smith. But Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, either Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware, or Nikola Jović and Bam Adebayo. Obviously, Tyler Herro's injured to start. Jaime Jaquez, Fontecchio, Davion Mitchell, Khalil Ware, Hella Larson, Drew Smith, Jakučionis are all guys that will be contributors for this team. And while they have still elite coaching in Erik Spoelstra, a strong defensive core led by Bam on paper, Davion Mitchell, Fontecchio and Andrew Wiggins are solid defenders. So is Jović. This is a team that is also deep with wing depth, as we just mentioned. Powell, Wiggins, Jaquez, Herro, Jović, like a lot of size. And the mix of veterans and promising youth with Ware, Jović, Jakučionis, Mitchell, like there's stuff there. I know there's uncertainty at point guard as the Terry Rozier experiment has been a failure and him being under investigation and having no value and seemingly being a detriment when he is on the floor. Jakučionis, Drew Smith, Davion Mitchell will be asked a lot, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do go hunting for somebody midseason, it's for a floor general who can actually set up stuff. Now, the outside shooting may be inconsistent. It's just, we don't know. That's a question, especially after losing Robinson. But Fontecchio, Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, I think you still have it there. And Tyler Herro, I'm not really worried. And injury concerns with Herro, Andrew Wiggins, Norman Powell, like there's, some of these guys, they may have not had serious injuries, but they always miss games and at least feels like 15 to 20 a season. Now, I think they do have a superstar in Bam Adebayo, a cornerstone, because people may say, oh, Jimmy Butler's gone, so they don't have a Batman. But I think that's Mr. Bam. I think on a championship team, Tyler Herro is the third best player, so him being the second best player, or at least not having a solid point guard or a bunch of depth may be a hindrance. However, Erik Spoelstra remains one of the top NBA tacticians in terms of scheming, maximizing role players, and building defensive identity. The challenge will be stabilizing rotations with Herro out and integrating rookies. His proven ability to create cohesion suggests that Miami will punch above its weight in terms of talent level again. And this is a team that's above the tax line of 187.9, and they're $6-7 million below the first apron. They have a trade exception for Duncan Robinson of almost $17 million, just under. Same thing for Haywood Highsmith of just under $6 million. Trade exceptions can't be aggregated, but could help, bring in some talent midseason if they go hunting for a guard. And draft capital, they own the 2026 first and 2029, 2030, and 2031, and they have some first round pick swaps in play. As I mentioned, Kasparas Jakučionis, the Lithuanian 6'6" guard who played at Illinois, is kind of like a Tyrese Halliburton type of player. I'm not saying that he has that potential, but that tall, herky-jerky. He's a really good scorer at the rim. He can create for others, live dribble passer, is a shot creator. And I think he'll quickly crack the rotation because they're going to run horn sets and pistol actions with a guy like Jakučionis. Vlad Golden's somebody that I really like, and because they don't have center depth, him being 7'1", a solid rebounder and rim protector, he's someone that they're going to go out and get. Jaime Jaquez is poised to take on a bigger role, especially scoring-wise, with Herro out early, and they probably want to capitalize on that, as if he does well, they would use him as a trade chip, as he has restricted free agency coming up, and he's somebody that maybe people think could be a reclamation project. Nikola Jović is a 6'10" forward who had a great Eurobasket. I think he's going to emerge as a solid scorer and two-way playmaker. And Khalil Ware's the big one, the long, athletic, big, with rim protection and floor spacing. He's going to be someone that they hope can just be consistent and be a pro for them. Norman Powell, they got in a trade, just coming off of the 20-point per game score where he looked like an all-star. He spaces the floor, attacks off the dribble. His experience will be critical early in Herro's absence, and his contract makes him valuable both on and off the court as a trade ballast later in the season. So how far can Miami go? The Heat are positioned to at least be a play-in team, in my opinion. Without Butler, the franchise needs Bam and Herro to both kind of be at an all-star, all-NBA level for the entirety of the year and help make everybody be better, which I don't think is too crazy to ask. And I think Bam Adebayo is someone that's become underrated and is outside of obviously Jokic and Şengün, then maybe Sabonis. You'd say the fourth best passing big in the league is Bam Adebayo. And with Jović, Jakučionis, Jaquez, and the other young guys developing, its core rotation pieces are huge. And even if they aren't long-term, them being used as trade chips to land the next big name might be even the bigger thing. So Herro's injury return, how quickly will he be able to regain form or just quickly return from this broken foot, it seems? And can Jaime Jaquez build value as a starter or just at least as a trade asset? Will Miami package Powell for a young player like an Anthony Simons, a Malik Monk, or a Santi Aldama? Can Spo once again overachieve with an imperfect roster? I think this is a team that's going to be above 500. They're projected like 40 wins. I think they can do that. I think worst case, they sneak into the playoffs as the 7th or 8th seed again with Spoelstra's system, Bam's defense, and Powell stabilizing that court until Herro returns. The Heat should be competitive, but still short of being a contender or somebody that will be a dark horse in the playoffs without a guy who can take over. So comment, like, subscribe. What are your predictions and thoughts on the Miami Heat for 2025 to 2026? Let me know down below.